Hello everyone, I'm Jack. I study Earth Sciences BSc at UCL. Today, I'm going to take you on a brief journey to explore the geomorphological and geological features of three distinct environments: America Death Valley, Ganges River System, and the Australia coastal setting. Using Google Earth Pro, we'll look at how natural forces such as erosion, sediment transport, and deposition shape these landscapes, and how the rocks found in these areas are formed. Feel free to pause the video at any time to have a look at the figures and tables. Please sit tight and enjoy the show. Death Valley is located in California and is the lowest point in North America, sitting at 86 meters below sea level. This unique location is a part of a rain shadow zone, meaning that the area receives very little rainfall, making it an extreme desert environment. The backwater basin is covered by a 63 km squared salt pan. This formed from the evaporation of water, leaving behind minerals like halite, gypsum, and calcite. The salt pan's formation reflects cycles of lake, filling and evaporation over time. The process of evaporation in this region leaves behind concentrated minerals, indicating a history of large evaporating water bodies. Water and gravity processes shape the mountains, which rise over 1,000 meters and are deeply eroded, creating steep, narrow canyons. These canyons are composed mainly of sandstone, limestone, shale, and basalt, which suggests a long history of sedimentary deposition and volcanic activity. At the base of these mountains, we find alluvial fans, which are formed by flash floods that brings gravel, sand, and silt downhill. These fans show steep gradients, indicating that they form in areas where rapid sediment deposition occurs. To the northwest of the basin, there's a 6 km squared playa field. The desiccation cracks you see in the playa result from the evaporation of water that once filled this area, forming minerals like halite, mudstone, and clays. The playa shows the ongoing cycle of water loss and sediment accumulation, reinforcing the process of evaporation in desert environments. Aeolian processes form three types of dunes at the Mosquito Flat. Number 1, Barchan dunes have crescent shape due to scarce sand supply and consistent wind. Number 2, longitudinal dunes develop where sand supply is abundant and wind blows from two dominant directions. Number 3, star dunes, forming areas with scarce sand supply and variable wind directions. Areas around Death Valley experience significant weathering, which combined with wind and water causes erosion and transports sediment downhill. The continuous breakdown of rock minerals helped form the canyons and alluvial fans. In contrast, areas like salt pans, playas, and dunes are where sediment is deposited. For example, the salt pan forms through the evaporation of water, and dunes accumulate sand as wind transports it. The biggest river in India, the Ganges, is constantly reshaping the landscape, particularly in regions where water flow is energetic. The type of river and the amount of sediment transported determine the types of deposits and rocks that are formed. Braided rivers typically form in high energy environments, where river flow fluctuates and carry large amounts of sediment. These rivers create a network of interwoven channels separated by bars of sediment. The deposits of these areas are often coarse, consisting of sandstones, conglomerates, and gravel, which reflect the high energy environment. In contrast, meandering rivers form in low gradient areas where the flow slows down. These rivers develop curved channels that lead to erosion on the cutbanks and deposition on the point bars. The sediment deposit here is much finer, usually forming well-sorted mudstones and siltstones. Levees from alongside rivers during flooding, where coarse materials are deposited close to the channel, while finer materials like mud and silt culminate further away. Floodplains are indicated with the red shaded region on either side of the river. The famous tidal-dominated Fly Delta stretches over 345 kilometers, and it was formed at the mouth of the rivers, where sediment is deposited as the river loses energy when entering standing water. The sediment forms a triangular shape with coarser sand at the mouth and finer clays further out. In braided rivers, the high sediment load and fluctuating discharge result in the rapid deposition of large materials like gravel and sand. In meandering rivers, the slower water flow results in the deposition of finer sediments, such as mud and silt. Figure 3 shows the elevation profile of the Ganges River as it runs from the west to the east. Each big drop of elevation indicates a meander. Deltas show a distinct sort of sediments, where coarser materials settle near the mouth and finer sediments are carried further out into the body of the river. Coastal environments are incredibly dynamic, shaped by the interaction between land, sea, and biological processes. Sediment transport along coastlines, biological activity, and wave action play significant roles in shaping these landscapes. The Great Barrier Reef is a green-shaded region, which stretches for more than 2,500 kilometers in length. This magnificent structure forming warm, shallow waters, where marine organisms like corals and algae build limestone structures through biological carbonate production. These reefs provide critical habitat for diverse marine life and protect coastlines from erosion by dissipating wave energy. Lagoons form when barriers like sandbars or coral reefs create shallow sheltered areas. The lagoon of my interest is shaded light blue and is located in between the coastal land and the barrier reef. Over time, fine sediments accumulate, forming mudstone or shale. Bioclastic and oolitic limestones also form from shell fragments and spherical carbonate grains in agitated waters. Barrier islands are elongated, narrow landforms formed by longshore transport of sand parallel to the shoreline. These islands act as a buffer between the ocean and the mainland, protecting coastal areas from storm surges and erosion. The sediments found on barrier islands include sand, silt, and clay, and the islands can evolve into complex ecosystems with beaches, dunes, and marshes. Coastal swamps forming low-lying areas due to sea level rise or land subsidence, creating waterlogged basins where fine sediments, organic matter, and clay accumulate. Tidal and riverine processes deposit mud and silt, while silt-tolerant vegetations like mangroves stabilizes sediments and slow water flow. Over time, organic material decomposes, forming peat, which with burial and pressure can transform into lignite or coal. Sources and sinks of sediment transportation is summarized in the table on either side of this slide. Waves sort beach sand and contribute to the formation of coastal shorelines and barrier islands. Meanwhile, corals and marine life build up the limestone structure of coral reefs. I have compared an elevation profile of the coastal area with the ideal cross-section of the reef system and managed to match each of the features. In lagoons, sediment is deposited from rivers, marine processes, and biological activity. These low-energy environments allow finer materials like mud and clay to accumulate. Examining environments using remote sensing skills, we have taken the full advantage of the modern technology. I have gained a deeper understanding of how surface processes shape the Earth, influencing rock formation and illustrating the continuous interaction between geological history and present-day processes. That actually perfectly summarized the purpose of this course. I hope you guys liked my tour, and thank you for listening. The list of references coming next.